Hopefully, the person who has the job to fill the iron has filled the iron with water up to the max line. If the water level gets lower than an inch, it will need more water. Make sure the iron is off when you fill. It's probably best to fill over the floor so you don't spill on the ironing board. And you can add some water or ask your iron filler to add some water. Here at school, the off spot has a red dot on it, near minimum. All right, and we're going to be using number 4, the steam setting number 4, which is a blend of materials, cotton polyester. So we need to wait a few minutes till it heats up. We'll know it's heated when we smell it. We may tip it down and tip it up and hear steam. And we may press the steam button and see steam shoot out of the bottom. All right, now for ironing this trim, this is what we do. We pull, the iron's in our dominant hand. We pull with our other hand. I lean my hip on the ironing board, iron sideways, move my hand. Hip, pull, iron sideways, move my hand. All right, you're gonna make sure that this trim is as large as you can get it. Okay, if you need to adjust and move this down, do it. All right, turn it over and just check on the other side that you've ironed this trim to be as big as you can possibly get it. Doesn't take very long. Be careful that you don't get the iron near your other hand. Okay, now you move to a table. I'm going to turn the iron off, and we are going to trim. Remember, our trim fabric was longer than our pillowcase fabric. So you can take a ruler, line it up with the edge of the pillowcase fabric so you get a nice straight line. Use either a chalk marking pencil or a sharp number 2 pencil, whatever you can see on your fabric, to mark where you need to cut. All right, this side, even though we attempted to line it up, it's still a little bit longer too. So line up the ruler with the pillowcase fabric, and then use your sharp chalk pencil or number 2 pencil to indicate where you need to cut. Very carefully, using sharp shears, cut on the line. That will be thrown out. Cut as slowly as you need to be accurate. Okay, now we are ready to pin this together, and we want to create a French seam on this pillowcase. So for French seams, we need to put wrong sides together. The pretty side, the right side, the good side should be facing out. The first thing we want to attempt to do is line up a line where the trim meets the pillowcase. If we did a good job of lining up our trim fabric in our burrito roll and a good job of sewing exactly on the 4/8 inch line, everything should line up. All right, so in my case, I've got this little bit of extra sticking off the top, so I'm going to adjust it. This whole project is using your engineering brain to analyze and problem solve. If your first plan doesn't work out, you need to come up with plan B. So I'm going to, these are my positioning pins. And then I'm going to comb, all right, my fabric. And it looks to me like this side's longer than this side. I'm going to flip it over. All right, I'm going to move my pins. So I'm working with the pins all on the same side of the fabric. All right, so my bottom does not line up here. I may need to do some cutting later, but I'm just going to put a positioning pin in here to hold it. So just like our other pinning, every 4 fingers or so, we pin with perpendicular pins. They should not be on an angle. If they're on an angle, you're likely to break a needle sewing on the sewing machine. You can pin in and down or in and up, your choice. I've been sewing such a long time, I'm pretty good at estimating every 4 fingers. Okay, and down I'm going to go. I am aligning these edges. They're lined up. One edge is not hanging over longer than the other. Take the time that you need to pin accurately. All right, and now we are going to put in some positioning pins. I'm just going to put maybe 4 pins in here. I'm being very careful to make sure they don't stick out past the fabric. I don't want to have the shears run into the fabric. Oh, I see a pucker here. It's kind of buckled and puckering. So I'm going to smooth that out. No puckers. All right, so you see how much time I'm spending playing with it, aligning it, adjusting it, getting the puckers out. This is what's necessary to have a nice finished product. All right, now I'm going to take the shears and I am going to cut the 2 edges. Look at how it's off. I'm going to start right around here. Don't let the pin stick out. Don't try to cut through the pin. You'll dull the shears. Break the tip off the pin. Okay, then analyze. If it looks pretty close, you're good. And you're ready for sewing.